Jesus tells us in Matthew 7:14 that relatively few people will be saved. Why will relatively few people be saved? Because they refuse to do the will of God that he requires for everlasting life, which is stated by Jesus at John 6:40. And this is the will of him that sent me, that everyone which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life. Most people refuse to do that. Most people are working their way to heaven. They're serving. They're obeying all the commands of Jesus. They're keeping the law. They're doing all sorts of ceremonies, including water baptism, etc. Please look at video number 86, Doctrines of Devils, which explains 11 of these works way to heaven. What's the problem? The problem is stated at 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, which says, "In whom the God of this world, Satan, hath blinded the minds of them which believe not." I don't know how Satan blinds the minds of these people. Some of these people are very smart, have high IQs, but he does. So what is the solution? The solution is the Word of God. We have got to get the Word of God to these people the best we can. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12 says, "The Word of God is quick and powerful." And if you look at the rest of that verse, it tells you the Word of God gets to the heart. Word of God. 1 Peter 1:23 says, "Being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible, by the Word of God, which liveth and abideth forever." So if you get the opportunity to witness these people, we want to show them appropriate verses out of the Word of God. Now, I made 2 videos about this, video number 65 and 99, ways to witness to lost people. But this video is primarily focused on, what if you can't use the Word of God? Then we have to rely on speaking to them. 1 Peter 4:11 says, "If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God." So if you're speaking to a lost person, trying to get them saved, you want to speak as much the Word of God as possible. Now I'm going to give you an example of what not to do. There's a very popular phrase out there, and it goes something like this. The saved person will tell the lost person that they need to have a relationship with Jesus. A lost person doesn't know what that means. The word relationship's not in the Bible, and they don't have a clue. Now, I have got the Spirit of God in me. I have a little wisdom, and I understand what these well-meaning people are trying to say, but the lost people are confused. Judas had a relationship with Jesus. Satan still has a relationship with Jesus. So you want to use the Word of God. Here's a couple recommendations. Number 1, memorize Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 and 9. Why? Because most people are trying to work their way to heaven. Ephesians 2, 8, 9 says this, "For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast." By experience, those 2 verses are very powerful. Here's another one, Romans 10:13. "For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved." And lastly, and this is really important, you are a saved person. Somebody led you to the Lord. You read a salvation tract. You read an article. You heard a radio program. But in that presentation to you, the Word of God was presented. Get your story squared away, your testimony. Memorize those Bible verses so that you can be prepared to tell your testimony to a lost person without the Bible and lead them to the Lord.